move some stone. So I didn't get that crushed yet. I'm currently filling a drainage ditch. So I'm going to get started on that now, and get a pipe into it and get it all closed in. It's been laying open for a few years now. You know, a dugout to help try to drain out of field, and it does work. So it was kind of left. It was never the material that was dug out was never even taken away. So we're going to take it all away. We're going to fill it up with stone now and fill it back over with the material that came out of it. And if there's anything left, take it away. So I've stored some drainage stone out here, and I'm going to use that drainage stone for this job. So I screened it all out, so I might as well use it. So I've tram rolled out now, so I'm going to cut this. This is what I just done yesterday evening. So I'm after actually piling a load of rock into that hole, because I'm going to leave that corner just exposed stone. A lot of water comes down off these rocks and this hill here, and out of this field and off this field, and it's just good to kind of have a spot that you know water will always guaranteed to go away. So you could even run drains to that in the future if you had to. So I'm just going to leave that like that, and then the rest of this will be filled up like the field and that. So I'm going to put some of this rock in along the bank here, right along, so you have a catchment area off the side of the field, because the side of the field here naturally water will seep through here, and if you close that back up with clay, you're technically closing back up the whole way across with soil. So, and especially around here, it's very, very heavy. It's like a semi kind of blue clay. You can see it there. It's really sticky. So that's a complete seal. So if I put clay back over this, I'm really technically sealing the roof of this whole drain here, which is not the idea. The idea is to try and get as much water off the ground as possible, from both sides, of course. So this is a land drain I ran across here in the winter time. Unfortunately, I got put out of it with weather, even though I did get it finished in the end, but it was just a mess. And you can see plenty of weeds on it now. It still hasn't been sorted out yet, but I ran a drain from this side of the field to the far side, where this whole area used to be very, very, very wet. Oh, I don't know, I think all the water used to come down off the other field into it, and maybe from this side as well. So I've ran one right across there now, down very deep. It was maybe at this point here, it's at least 4 foot deep, maybe yeah, at least 4 foot anyway. And then it goes out, it raises slightly across the whole way. So what I'm doing here is these T's here, so obviously that's the land drain coming out from that one I done in the winter time. And then this is going to be another one that I'm going to cut across here, because this here area again, I think a lot of water maybe comes off them rocks and stuff, but at the minute it's not too bad. This gateway kind of area gets extremely wet. That just is completely, you can't even walk through it, it's that bad. So I'm going to cut a land drain across here and tie it into this pipe here, and with the drainage tile bucket there. So I'm going to get into this now. I'm going to try and make up a wee bit of tram for around the pipe here. And obviously the idea, if I haven't explained, is this stops any of your soils getting into your stone, so your stone inside and that will always stay clean. So you're guaranteed always a clean drain regardless. So you have a clean tube, let's say, right down through the ground with stone in it. So last night, this is how far I got. Camera ran out of battery, which I didn't realise it was so low. So I've ran a small lane, as I said, on the inside here of stone, so that'll be mostly exposed. So the back side of that I'll fill with soil and that. Fill with you noticed as well I had another drain here. So there was a land drain put in across here, and it was coming out through the bank here, which I never noticed until early last night, whenever I was walking around here and I noticed it was all wet. So when I cleaned it back, the water started to come out of it. So fill that all up with stone to make sure that plenty of drainage there to get down into the main drain. And I've still put a little bit in here. I didn't realise I was going to use actually so much so fast, but anyway, plenty of it. So what I'm going to do now is I was parcel wrapping the pipe, but I'm a wee bit low on tram. So what I'm going to do is now, since it is a hard bed, I'm not really concerned about it underneath. I'm literally just going to start covering the top now of the tram. I'm not going to parcel wrap it anymore. It'll get me away, you'll get it finished, and it will be still a very successful job. I'm not concerned about it. So I'm going to start joining up pipes here now right down. Probably go away and try and put in as many pipes as I can. The fact that I can now just not worry about the tram, and then afterwards I can put my tram over it, fill it in across, and it's done. And then it saves a lot of time and a lot of effort. This here is very, very difficult way of doing it, because especially when you're walking on your own, what happens is as soon as you put the stone in on top of the pipe, the tram falls in underneath the stone, so you have to go along by hand, manually move every stone that's in the way and pull it up from each side. But anyway, I still recommend this, especially if you're in a kind of definitely in a wet ground. Like, this isn't wet in here along this hedge. It's a hard bottom, so I'm just going to use the pipe and stone direct, and then a little bit of tram across to stop any kind of material coming down through the stone and ruining the drain over a short period of time. So I've all my pipes in right down. Grab a little bit of stone here. A little bit along this edge up here, I need it. And then I'll turn the bucket around then to fill across the pipe. Just have it in this direction here so I can kind of do this job. So I'll kind of this stone up along the bank. So I can, this will provide like an open top drainage edge. So that stone sitting on top of itself right down along the bank there will allow water to flow down to the drain instead of completely covered with clay. If we can kind of try and keep that slightly exposed. The ground is just so heavy here and so clay type. Whenever it packs in and seals, so it doesn't let a lot of water through it. So that's why I'm trying to leave open edge drainage if I can. It's very difficult in some ways to do it because of, for obvious reasons. You don't want stone on the top of the ground, but sometimes it's just only there. The fact that this is in alongside the hedge itself, I'm not concerned about it being exposed. Just looking forward to kind of getting this all now filled in and kind of tidied up. It's just kind of, it's a bit of a mess, to be honest. Been a mess for a long time, so good to get rid of this fence here as well. Like, well, there's nothing only trouble with cattle breaking out through it and walking down through the drain, and so cattle being cattle, they don't know the damage they're doing, so they're constantly pulling the bank down, and so they're constantly cleaning the drain out, you're taking more and more material out. You end up, it gets wider and wider and wider. So hopefully we won't have that issue anymore. So. The downside to dropping stone on the ground here is you end up with plenty of mixed material, and you go to pick it up. It's alright. This for any along this bank, you don't mind. Just have to try and keep it clean then for around the pipe. Cut a small drain in over here, but I'm not going to tee it into the pipe. I'm just going to run a small bit of stone through this wet area here. I'm just going to cross this pile, because if I track across the stone, I push it down into the ground. So the fence there, and here, so I think I might put a track into this here so that I can try and help that stay dry there. Put some stone in it, should be good. This way, unfortunately, you don't get, you're not able to get the angle on the bucket to try and keep it closed, so it's a bit of a pain, so it does. Easier doing this now without the tram in underneath it. After lifting up on me, so I'm after managing to get stone in underneath the pipe, so that's not ideal, so I'm going to fix that. Yeah, so I just got that pipe back down again. What happened was I put the scoop of stone in behind the pipe and it automatically went in underneath the pipe and lifted the pipe up. Like, people will argue, which is right, the only place you're supposed to have your stone is under your pipe, but in some cases like this here, I was wrapping and protecting the pipe anyway from with stone, with tram, so I kept the pipe low. There's advantages and disadvantages to having the pipe low. I find that you get the depth you want, you keep the pipe well down, and then I also find that you get your manage to keep the whole pipe safe, because the stone that I'm using is a little bit rough, so I find if you put too much underneath it, you run the risk of actually damaging the pipe. Then if you get pressure on the pipe, you get heavy stone will penetrate the pipe. So I've probably taken for this small section, I've probably taken about 40 tons of stone here for this. So for the way things is looking, I'm going to actually use it all. I'd have more, I just didn't want to have to weigh and draw in more, but it looks like I'm going to have to. I just have to try and drop it evenly here, just to kind of make sure that it keeps the pipe down. As I said, for drainage, you're supposed to be your stone under your pipe so that the water can get a chance to come up to the pipe level and then flow in the pipe if it needs to be, but otherwise always use the stone for drainage. In this case, it's going to do both. You have stone both sides of the pipe because it's not a tile drain, it's an actual wide main drain, so you're probably going to get more or less no water flow in this pipe. It's a 4-inch pipe. You're looking at a lifetime job. It's never going to be a problem or ever going to really ever fill up, so I'm not concerned about it, as I say. that's all stone in right along the whole way. So I've even put a wee bit on the bank the whole way along, and you can see a wee bit of the pipe here and up past the marks. I'll throw a few stones over. I'm going to just put the tram out just literally over and up the bank, up along the edge of the bank, to kind of help protect this stone as well. So it'll mean that at an angle, it's highly doubtful that a lot of clay will ever really make its way down along the side. Plus, it'll never fill up this area over in here in the back. So you're always going to have a good drain. So that's what I decided to do. Originally I was just going to put a little bit across it, but now I'm just going to a little bit across and up the bank, and then leave the edge of that there will be just below the edge of the topsoil. So it'll keep the stone exposed and keep the stone clean and allow a drainage along the whole way. Now as I go, as I put out the tram, I'll fix the stones in the bank. Like, I only put it in with the machine, just dropped it in and kind of gently pushed it against the bank. In places it's missing and it's kind of all over the place. So tidy that up now. I'm going to cut the tram and just lay it all out. Tail drain out these and just scrape back the top layer, top side of it. Drain out these small sections here, so I can create a way of getting water off this. It's very, very wet here. Filled anyway, so put it in now, put it in later, it's all the one. Throw a small pipe in these across, will be nothing major. Same thing. Very pretty here at the edge. Trammed right down across the stone the whole way, so all I have to do is dig out these couple of tracks here. Small, this one's very short, the other one's a little bit longer, and fill them in, and then fill them in with stone and pipe, and then fill in the whole rest of it then. obvious sign that somebody tried to drain the water off it before, but I don't see any water in the pipe, so saying that that drain has either never worked or has blocked up over time, unfortunately. Trying to get a little bit of depth here. Coming to the actual drain, and then we'll try and raise it slightly. I'm just going to judge that by the bucket, how deep the bucket is. So. Day 2 now of finishing off these drains here. So this is my latest land drain here. So it runs in underneath the machine. You can see some of the stone just underneath the track. So I've just left like an open bed of stone, but it is trammed the whole way like this here and closed in. Now I'm going to fill this, I think, with stone to the top, because it's only a gateway. Well, not a gateway, but it's an access route through here. That's Big Hill, and all the water runoff seems to come down this way. But the problem is this whole area just becomes saturated and just you can't even walk through it. So I'm just finishing this off. So as you can see, what I've done is I put a bit of a layer of stone down, threw in this land drain pipe here. It's 4-inch. And I actually ran out of pipe, so obviously these black ones, I have that one prepped ready to tie it into the T-piece here, which is just in there, as you can see. So I'm just getting this little bit of tram here just kind of tidied in here, and another bit of stone into it, and then roll the pipe out, get the pipes joined up, put a bit of stone across the tops of the pipes, kind of fold it over itself, and then fill it. So I'll just leave this on a wee bit of a time lapse here. You'll see what I'm doing here just as I go here. Now, so completed now, ready for filling. So I've got at every entry to the main drain, I've put like taken the stone to the top of the ground, and as I said before, I'm going to fill this up here now with whatever stone I've left in the trailer. Fill this gap up nice and high with the stone up above the ground, guaranteed that you have a good access to water, can get down through here. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to literally use all these piles now to fill this all off, get it completely finished off, and back to normal as such, so that yeah, you've tidier field, you've more ground as such, and just you have less maintenance. So it took a couple of days to do this, but that's it. Like it's more or less a lifetime job. I can't see myself ever having to come back to this. You'd have depending on how you do your tram work and how you cover your pipe and cover your stone, you might end up returning to it at a later stage and having to redo it, because if your clay can get down through it. Here at the end here, like the tram is just wrapped over itself to, like, more or less you have a sealed pipeline, so you have like a kind of a gully here for water. You see this rock here, I think there's a lot of water comes down around this area, so this is always wet here, but this will be no longer wet. So I'll just grade out the field there around that and just leave like a wee bit of a area, and even if that's ever gets, which it probably will, it'll grow over at some stage, but once the rock is close to the top of the ground, the water's always going to get away very quickly. Like it'll get away anyway, but once it's close, it'll get away quicker. So that's it. That there now, starting to look the job. But we haven't getting back to normal finally. As I say, this has been dug out at least 6 or 7 years ago by somebody else at the time, and just kind of never decided on what was going to be done with it completely, so it's just left. At one point I was going to take away all that material, but we decided to leave it because we said, well listen, we'll probably realistically the best thing to do would be to fill it back in. But of course you just can't fill it back in, so I was piped, and it was just between getting around to it and everything else. And I attempted to get at it last year, but I got put out with the weather, so getting it done now. So I'm doing it and trying my best to kind of keep the tram on this side is of course trying to protect that stone, so I'm trying my best to try and keep the material up against the tram and not have it pull it down. So as I go along, I'm gently putting some material up against it, keep it pushed up against it, that there, and then I'm not worried about it then. The weight of the material to hold it, and I can backfill it then. since this is laying here that long and you've cattle walking through it and that, things like that for a long time, it's very actually hard to find the graded field here, because obviously there's no grass and underneath these piles as such. It's actually hard to find the topsoil and what's what, and I'm trying to just cut it with the gradient of the field, but you have bits of the piles that pulled out along the sides all over the years, so it's kind of very here or there where you are, so we'll suss it out. A little bit of soil here up along the sides as well, where it was all kind of got tramped down along the side. Just try to recover everything. It's here that long, it's well set, like the piles are actually tough to dig, like it's well set. Interested in finding out how much I'm actually going to use of this material as well, and see is there going to be much that I end up having to take away. I had a plan in the past to take out that entire hedge and grade that field into this one, but we decided against it then, so either way it can still be done. It just requires you probably use the gradient of the other field or whatever material you cut off the other field to take it down into this one, so just a matter of really pulling the hedge out, and that other ground is higher, so there's a lot of blue clay in this that was dug out of this, and I'm trying to get it down deep. I don't want to see it. It doesn't grow anything, and it's a bit of an eyesore. Out here on this edge here, I can see a lot of happy material. So I'm here now just going to start to back grade this kind of the bucket switched around. Just kind of give it a little bit of a pat in, just kind of get it all tightened up. Kind of happy enough with all the flat spread around, so. Press it in the back as well. I'm probably going to lose some because when I was spreading out the bucket the other way around, I wasn't able to get the material in the back. So up along the edge of the actual hedge, it'll probably take some material. Give it a shot of grease. It's squeaking a wee bit even though I greased it yesterday. All greased up now, no more squeaking. Yeah, I greased that like I've probably only done about four hours work on it since I greased it, so I was surprised it was squeaking, so that's why I didn't bother greasing it there now. But I mean right before I started the machine today. Anyway. Most of the time I overgrease, so I'm just wondering sometimes how maybe a dry spot in a bushing or something. I find the main boom lift arms, rams here, cylinders here alongside me are the usually squeak on the pin in the boom, probably the quickest. And I've heard the main pin is what squeaked before as well, even though I've got a line board and repaired. Actually, it was bad when I got the machine. It was a lot of play in it. So general maintenance is very important. greasing, like you get virtually no wear. Well, depending on the ground you're walking on too. If you're doing your greasing intervals the way you should do, you get very little wear. Like very, very, very little. They're engineered to not wear with the correct grease. I use a pin and bush grease. General purpose grease is no good. It just doesn't do the job. Like, it just won't. Or pins and bushings and stuff like that. It doesn't have lubrication. It will lubricate for a very short period of time, I found. So lithium grease, people like it because I think it's like a cleaner grease. It's blue, and I suppose it doesn't look as bad when it leaks, but when it gets out around the edge of the machine and that, it doesn't look as bad. But as far as I can see, when it doesn't have the lubrication property that pin and bush grease has. Pin and bush grease is black grease, and it's a kind of a charcoal colour, but it's probably the best you can use. It's a little bit dirtier, obviously, and it comes out once it starts coming out of the bushings and that. It dirties the machine very quickly, but I don't really mind. I'd prefer that the machine wasn't wearing out and be able to clean off a little bit of grease now and then, rather than using the grease that's just not really just up to purpose. This is all I'm doing now. I'm just going to fine trim this up and I'm finished in here. So we'll move on to the next project and I'll do a little bit of video of that. I think that's going to be the shed, putting up the shed. So yeah, see you on that one. So just a quick video of how it turned out. It's all finished now. It's all nice and level the whole way down. It's all leveled out, and ended up with just about half a trailer over the side. That just needs cultivated now with a tractor and maybe land leveled and fenced off, a wee bit of seed thrown on it, and